Ryu said, "I'll push us to first place with one move, both individual and group scores." Ryu's confidence came from one thing. The last chance for the lower ranks was gambling. Ryu smiled and said, "And the way to win at gambling is with clairvoyance. When there's an hour left, a message would appear. Until then, he would earn points steadily." While thinking this, a message appeared before Ryu. The time had come. There is 1 hour remaining until the end of the current round. A special event, Casino, is now open. In the casino, you can increase your points up to 200 times. The location of the casino is confidential. Ryu said, "Hitting it big at the gambling den is the fastest shortcut to earn more points." That's why Ryu spent 23 hours gathering points to bet his entire fortune at the gambling den. Then Ryu opened the status window to check his points. Korean team's total points, 12,775,330. Black Scythe's points, 103,020. Time remaining until end of round, 00:59:39. Ryu said, 100,000 points isn't bad. Gathering 100,000 points solely through quests? It's possible for Ryu since he knows which quests have the best efficiency, but it's impossible for the average player without committing murder. Of course, the other top 10 killers from different countries probably surpassed 100,000 points by slaughtering everything in sight. Maybe not as extreme as Ma Kyung-rok or Ju Seong-tak, who killed up to 1,000 people. Ryu added, "They must have killed at least 500 in the previous regression. The players below me had around 200,000 points. In fact, 200,000 is extremely high. But even that is a drop in the bucket compared to what Ryu plans to do. He plans to multiply his points by 200 times at the gambling den. That way, achieving the #1 ranking and making his team the top team becomes possible." Ryu added, "With my clairvoyance, there's nothing to worry about. It's as good as won already. As long as Ryu knows the location of the gambling den, there's no issue. Having gone through dozens of regressions, there's no way he could forget its location." Ryu said, "I need to head there before it's too late." Then Ryu began to move towards the gambling den for his final chance. When the message announcing the gambling den's opening appeared, everyone's eyes lit up as they desperately tried to find its location. But with only 1 hour left and this vast continent to search, finding the gambling den was like finding a needle in a haystack. Ryu said, not revealing the location was a smart move. If tens of thousands of people swarmed the only gambling den, that would be a problem. Though everyone had to find it on their own, the gambling den was actually in a surprisingly easy location, in an inn within the Holy Empire, which could be considered the center of the continent. Ryu headed towards the kitchen storeroom inside the inn. An NPC who appeared to be the innkeeper asked, "Hey, what are you doing in the kitchen?" Ryu answered honestly, "I'm looking for the gambling den." He said, So you're one of the otherworldly warriors." The innkeeper, after glancing around cautiously, moved a sack of rice and opened a door on the floor. A set of stairs leading underground was revealed. Descending the stairs, Ryu found a dimly lit secret passageway. It was the path leading to the gambling den. As he walked through the passage, a wide chamber came into view, along with a message. "You have completed the side quest. Points, plus 1,000. Even those with no points would receive 1,000 points just for finding it." Ryu said, "It's bait to get people hooked on gambling. It might seem like free money, but it's a trap designed to lure people into gambling. And if you get excited about receiving free points, you should turn back immediately. Even just stepping into the gambling den is a shortcut to ruin, and without clairvoyance, Ryu wouldn't have come here either." Then another message appeared. "Welcome to the gambling den. PK is prohibited in the gambling den. Attacking others will not inflict damage. Interfering with others' gambling will result in automatic expulsion. The door will close and the game will begin once the allotted time has passed. Please wait patiently until then. Time remaining until event starts 00:13:49. While reading the message, Ryu observed the chamber. Already dozens of people had entered the gambling den. These were the players who were lucky enough to find it. Ryu said to himself, "Well, not necessarily lucky. Losing everything and leaving would be the worst outcome." Looking around, He saw both Asians and Westerners. Everyone was waiting for the game to start. One inquired, "Hey, isn't that Black Scythe?" In fact, after Ryu completed several missions and collected points in the form of Lost Yak, and before he came here, he had removed the doppelganger's ring and reverted to his original appearance as Black Scythe. This allowed a few Korean players to recognize him. Ryu said to himself, "With little time left, there's no need to hide my identity. Even if he wins big at the gambling den, his identity will be revealed during the tally anyway." Ryu added, "Everyone's just watching each other silently." As the message stated, PK is prohibited here. Since no damage could be inflicted, everyone was just eyeing each other. Ryu added, "If PK were allowed, people would be fighting over gambling funds right now." However, interfering with others' gambling was not allowed. Thankfully, clairvoyance isn't considered interference. Using it to guess correctly poses no problem. It's a fact verified through numerous rounds. Then a message appeared. Time remaining until event starts. 0, 0, 0, 0. As time passed and the countdown hit 0, the entrance to the chamber was sealed by an iron door. Now, no one could enter or leave. Soon, a bright light descended into the chamber. Everyone's attention turned to the newly appeared angel, who said, "Hello, aspiring gamblers. I'm Gabby, the guide of this gambling den. Nice to meet you." Contrary to the cheerful angel, the expressions of the people were grim. Most were desperate for points to the extent of gambling their lives. They were filled with anxiety and unease. The angel said, "Oh dear, your eyes look so dark, like veteran gamblers already. Well, let's get started. 59 participants. That's more than I expected. Let me explain the game rules." As the angel flapped its wings, 2 enormous cards, each the size of a person, appeared in the air. The angel added, "The game rules are simple. Here are red and black cards. After shuffling the cards, I'll present one, and you guess its color. Easy, right?" One said, "Just guess the color. Sounds simple." Another said, "Like an odd or even game." As people quickly grasped the game, the angel continued saying, "There's a similar game in the human world, right? Odd even, casino roulette, etc. The odds are 50-50. You can bet as many points as you want, and if you guess correctly, your points will be doubled. If you guess wrong, you lose them all." It seemed like a fair game. The angel added, "However, you can't try indefinitely. You have 6 chances. If you win all 6 times, you'll earn an enormous amount of points. Assuming you bet your entire fortune each time and doubled it, you could multiply your points by 64. However, the probability of winning 6 times in a row is only 1.5%. At that moment, one player raised his hand and spoke. "Angel, if we only have 6 tries, even if we win every time, we can only get 64 times our points." The message said the maximum was 200 times. The angel scolded lightly. "I was about to explain that. Impatient, aren't you?" Then the angel said, "What I just explained is the standard betting method. For those seeking higher returns, there's the high-risk method." One inquired, "High risk? What's that?" The angel replied, "Unlike normal betting where you wager your desired points, the high-risk method requires you to bet all your points. You only get one chance, and if you win, you'll receive the winnings after successfully guessing all 6 rounds. If you fail even once, you lose everything and permanently suffer a 50% stat reduction debuff." One inquired, "What? A permanent stat reduction? And only one chance?" The angel said, "If you fail, you're finished." One said, "The risk is too high." The angel added, "In return, if you win all 6 rounds in a row instead of 64 times, you'll get 200 times your points. It's a premium service for those looking to overturn their lives in one go." One player said, 200 times, huh? That's quite tempting." Despite the attractive prize, most people dismissed the offer. Only a 1.5% chance of winning. No matter how big the reward, no one was foolish enough to bet on a 1.5% chance. In other words, the failure rate was 98.5%. Then the angel said, "Now shall we choose the method? Anyone who wants to take the high-risk challenge, please raise your hand." The angel's words were met with silence from the players. They merely scoffed at the ridiculous offer internally, and one said to himself, "Crazy angel, who would bet on the high-risk method?" Another said to himself, "It's more efficient to bet with a 50% chance of winning and losing. I may be desperate for points, but I'm not betting on a 1.5% chance." The probability was so extreme that no one stepped forward, except for 2 individuals. They were players from the lowest-ranked area, almost certain to be eliminated. They figured they had nothing to lose. And one of them said, "I'll take the challenge." Another said, "I'll challenge it too." The angel asked, "Only two? No one else?" Then another person raised his hand. It was none other than Ryu. One inquired in shock, "Isn't that Black Scythe? Is Black Scythe really betting on the high-risk method?" Another asked, "Why would he risk it when he's not lacking anything?" One said, "He's out of his mind."